Hello, and thank you for tuning in again to Emitter today. And today's webinar is going to be focusing on two-way text messaging. I am Samiksha, and I'm a part of the marketing team at Emitter, and I'm here to talk to you about why two-way text messaging is very important for your business, how it can help you communicate with your customers and keep them engaged 24 by 7, and also help you increase your revenue. Now, before I jump into that, let's see what customers have to say and why is it important to enable text messaging for your big business. Now, when we look at the numbers, 90% of customers prefer text messaging over direct phone calls. It is said that 95% of text messages are read and responded to in the first 3 minutes of being received. And when we look at that in comparison to emails have a click-through rate of 4% compared to 19% of an SMS, which is why the focus or the emphasis lies on text messaging today. And for that to enable text messaging for your business is become even more important now. Now, you probably do most of your non-working communication through text messages, right? And like I said, 95% of all text messages are opened in the first three minutes as compared to emails, which have an open rate of only 20%. Now, most people reply to an SMS within 90 seconds. Now, why am I telling this to you again? I want you to be on top of your customer engagement and communication. And the best way to do that is to use a medium of communication that your customer is hooked to. Now, this will in turn reduce your response time, increase customer retention, which will lead to generating more revenue, which I know all sounds great. So I want to talk you through a way in which you can help achieve all these goals very easily. Now let's look at a little closely on the understanding of what your customer wants. Now your customers are busy and are constantly juggling between different things. In a scenario which is this, such as this, how likely are they to have time to contact you or book an appointment or schedule a follow-up? So it's a big deal when they have to drop everything that they're doing throughout the day, pick up a call your customer service, and let alone wait on that call till someone answers. Now, calling a support center when all they need is a quick answer breaks their flow of the day, and they're very less likely to do it. Meanwhile, email support still feels like a more formal medium of communication. People spend longer time drafting messages, which wastes most of their day. Plus, they don't know how quickly or how long would it take for you to reply to those messages. Customers today want businesses to value that time. And so, giving them a way of communicating via text seems to be the easiest thing to do. It fits their lifestyle and it doesn't disrupt their hectic day. They don't have to wait for your replies and can go on doing their work and can respond to you as and when you reply. So it's simple. Your customer wants to text you because it is easy, it is quick, and it saves time. And the hassle is therefore lost. Hence, they're more likely to do it. Now let's understand the possibilities of text messaging. So when we look at what possibilities or what is the outcome that text messaging can have on your business, I've listed a few down on the slides and you can go through them. But let me talk a little bit about what it can do for your business. Now, one, it provides better customer support. Now, using two-way texting, as a matter of fact, helps your business provide your customers with a better service. Now, with messaging, your customers can easily answer the questions or ask you questions about your brand or a product and the services that you're enabling them with. Now, for example, you send a text message about a sales to a customer who wants to know if the offer also has a free shipping. Now, with two-way text messaging, they respond to the first message and ask you about free shipping, and they get the information that they need right before they make the purchase. They do not have to email you or be reluctant about ordering a similar product just because they're unaware about certain facts about the product or the shipping in this case. Now, this also helps you build better customer relations. So when your customer feels like you listen to them and you care about them, you're able to build a stronger relationship with them. Now, this is especially important for an e-commerce brand where they aren't able to build relationships with customers in person. Now, for example, say you send out a text message about a sale going on, just like I mentioned earlier, and a customer has a question about the sizing options before they buy a particular product. They can respond to the first message and ask about the sizing options and get information about that sizing chart. As a result of this interaction, the customer has a better impression of the company and is likely to purchase the product faster. Now, this also reduced the response time for you. You were able to respond to the customer faster in a manner that is the best and the most appealing to him. And therefore, this also helped nurture or build a healthy sales pipeline for your business. Now, that is text messaging, and there's so much more you can do with text messaging, which I will cover in the presentation forward. But let's look at what we can do if we automate text messaging. And you know how text messaging and automation, when working together, have the power to make your operations very smooth and efficient. Let's look at when we enable or text enable a business through automation, we can essentially put their entire operations on an autopilot mode. You can through automation set autoresponders, automate reminders and review requests, and also have a system where you can send out follow-up messages post an appointment to share the status or the ongoing task that's going on, and like keep your customer up to date on the progress of their order. Now, this not only helps you save time, but also help your customer keep in loop of their order or their appointment. It is seen that text messaging has shown or helped businesses reduce or save time of 10 hours per week. Now, let's look at a little bit about, why you should enable two-way messaging for your business. And what it does best is it helps you constantly interact with your customers and stay connected with them 24/7, improve customer conversations, and reduce response time. Hence, you win more business. Now, some of the ways you can use two-way texting and the impact that it would have on your business, we're going to discuss them point by point. And if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments below and we can answer them. But let's start with how it can improve website conversions by 10x. Now, let us look at a simple example. A web inquiry comes in and you or your team are not available to answer that at that moment. Now, what two-way text messaging and automation can do for your business is that it can convert that web chat into a text message inquiry, and you can respond to that text message whenever you or your team are available. So you're essentially putting a website, you're converting a website traffic into a customer simply by enabling text messaging for your business. Another thing that is that most businesses that come to us fail at is they're not able to convert their missed calls to text messages. Now, what this does for your business, whenever I call a business out of its working hours, I will just straight go to voicemail. Now that's there, but how likely am I to wait for a business to respond to me before I shift to another business? We have a couple of options these days. No one wants to wait. And what this feature for two-way text messaging does is that it sends an auto respond to your customer as soon as you receive a missed call. It could be anything based on your office hours, or for example, a particular inquiry or scheme. This is completely customizable, but this will allow you to take the conversation forward with your customer, and it'll give them a number to come back to you on. They will not be then going and looking for an alternative, but are most likely to stick to you because you have taken this conversation forward. Now, what this does also, two-way text messaging does is helps reduce customer calls and saves hundreds of hours with online scheduling and rescheduling. With its simple text messaging and automated responders, Your customers or your clients or your patients can schedule appointments seamlessly. They can also reschedule appointments through the same. Setting up certain keyword autoresponders always helps your business stay on top. It keeps the customer engaged. They don't feel lost, and therefore they're constantly in touch with the business and are less likely to shift to another alternative. Like I said, it helps you reduce response time by 3x. And we have seen this across businesses in the healthcare industry, in the home service industry, in the e-commerce industry. When you allow your customers to book appointments round the clock without having to pick up their phone and dial your service or book an appointment, they are very likely to be one, on time, and two, more likely to book an appointment faster than they usually would, because they don't have to go through the hassle of calling calling your practice up and waiting through an automated voice or anything of that sort. It's super fast, super easy, and they're more likely to do it. What Emitter also does amazingly well for your business is that it centralizes your entire communication under one inbox. Now, what that does for your business is that it helps you control conversations across multiple touch points on a single dashboard. Now, why is this so great? It's great because it reduces your response time and keeps all your conversations organized. You do not have to jump to, say, Google or Facebook Messenger or your phone to just reply to messages. When it consolidates everything in a single dashboard, you can respond to these messages from this dashboard. You do not have to waste time, or your receptionist does not have to waste time jumping across platforms to answer inquiries or messages. Now let's look at what text messaging did for a home service business called Octamaids. Now, when they came to Emitter, they had a few goals where they wanted to leverage text messaging reminders to inform their clients about upcoming appointments, improve their search ranking across Google, Facebook, and other local SEO websites, and easily communicate with customers via web chat and text for all missed calls or a call overflow. So what they did was they incorporate the Emitter missed call to text feature, which allowed them to convert all their missed calls outside office hours into text messages, and they could easily respond to them as and when they had the time. They converted all their website visitors traffic, whoever inquired through the web chat, to a text message so that they could respond to them, one, when they were in office, or two, through autoresponders for inquiries that could be automatically responded to. They didn't have to waste time on responding to the same inquiry manually. They had just automated the entire process. Text-based communication with customers. They started informing their customers about appointments, about follow-ups, about scheduling, about on the way, or when the technician is on the way, or the cleaner is on the way, all through text messaging. Now, what this did is this allowed their customers not to forget, or in case another case is reschedule appointments when they had to, and their no-show rate decreased drastically. And they also used Emitter's review request capabilities, which is super simple and can be enabled through a text message, where as soon as someone walks out of your clinic or you finish a particular service, you can enable a review request to them and set a particular time. For example, Octamaids did it for 1 hour after their service was finished. They would send a text reminder for their review request to the customer, and their reviews increased drastically. This also increased their ranking on Google. Now let's look at what the business impact looked like. So they reduced inbound call volume by 50% because they were able to handle most of the traffic through text messaging. And they saw 100% rise uh, in, uh, in conversion rates, and also all, like, none of the calls went unanswered. 100% calls were answered, and the response rate was higher than it had ever been. You can look at the numbers, and you can look at what the missed call rates look like and how that was compensated by text. So essentially, the point I was trying to make here is that when we're slow at responding to our customers, we are going to lose out on revenue. And engaging your customers to drive revenue through two-way text messaging is the way to go forward. Customers, businesses who are not employing two-way text messages, two-way text messaging and giving your customers an easy way to communicate with you are losing business. And we've seen that over the past. Now let's look at another example in the healthcare industry where the no-show rate is extremely high. Now, Dr. Mary Tilak and Associates had 17,000 plus loss of revenue because they had not been answering to missed calls for last 6 months. And 80% of their calls were abandoned and were never heard of, which was loss of $400K of business. And that's potential business loss. It could have been more. It's just an average estimate that we could come up with. But that's a lot of business being lost just because you couldn't respond to your missed calls and your patient had to go and book an appointment somewhere else. Now, what did Emitter do? They enabled a two-way text messaging, which helped reduce no-shows and also increase revenue and reviews. So whenever they would, their system would receive a missed call, Emitter would generate an auto response with a booking link. So most of these missed calls were either for prescription refills or they were for booking an appointment. Instead of manually having to book every appointment, and a link that would have their calendar would go to the customer and they could easily schedule appointments as per their convenience. So this helped reduce missed calls and also schedule 100% appointments. Now they use two-way SMS for insurance related inquiries, service related inquiries, prescription refills, scheduling and rescheduling, following up on reminders, and generating more reviews. And very importantly, all these text messages were HIPAA compliant, and therefore none of the data was compromised, which is very important for any healthcare business. Their data, their messages need to be HIPAA compliant. That's according to law. And therefore, things like prescription refills, which took up most of the times of the receptionist to just generate a simple prescription refill, was now being done automatically, helped save a lot of time and also kept their schedule full throughout. Let's look at the business impact that this had on Dr. Mary Tilak and Associates. Now the data shows that 15% of 17,000 plus missed calls were appointments related to say approximation or insurance issues, and it could also lead to a revenue of $500,000. So that was something that was curbed. There was a 40% reduction in incoming calls for prescription refills, like I just mentioned, and there was content customized templates that were sent out for patients to fill, and they didn't need to call the healthcare facility anymore to get a prescription refill. Now 30% revenue and patient experience improved month on month, and we could see this as their reviews went up on their website and they started ranking higher than they were initially. Now it has therefore now become very important to engage your customers in two-way messaging, and some of the ways that you can do that too is by sending out status updates of whether your service is on the way or your courier is on the way, or simply updating them on the status of their bookings or their appointments, sending them service alerts. This has shown to reduce no-shows by a great number. Promotional offers and discounts, they are always welcomed by customers. They're always looking for sales, and there's no easier way to communicate it to them through a text messaging. Now, some of the tips that we think could help you text better is, of course, please be clear with your text messaging. Keep them short. This motivates your customer to read the text message instead of just shutting it down. Be mindful of your tone. As personal as it can get is better. Customers are more likely to respond to a message which is personalized than to a message which sounds very salesy or as a marketing message. And lastly, always give them the option to opt out of your messaging list. This enables their privacy and is very important for your business to maintain. So just to wrap up today's webinar, the few goals that we looked at through text messaging were how to keep your customers engaged at all times and how to increase your revenue through two-way text messaging. Please subscribe to our channel, and for any questions, please drop them in the comments below.